I don't think NASCAR officials will admit it, but they have to be concerned with the departing legends, the good guys and the bad guys. And one good guy departed today, and that is Dale Earnhardt Jr., and he's one guy that is simply irreplaceable. Dale Earnhardt Jr. was introduced for the final time as a race car driver in Sonoma. Just 42 years old, the effects of concussion sidelined Earnhardt for the final 18 races last season, the deciding factor of his farewell tour.
I have to buy a last souvenir from him, the last race here in Sonoma, and we have to say thank you.
I've grown up watching NASCAR. My favorite driver when I was little was his dad, Darrell Waltrip Sr., and when he passed away, I started becoming a Junior fan.
We go way back. We go way back, Caroline. Yeah, this will be our first race. But I had to see it. I had to see history.
While NASCAR fans might see Dale Jr. fill in from time to time, they will never see him behind the wheel in Sonoma, where he never won a race.
And when we run third here, I think we all said we're going back to the house. Everybody showed up when they got off they flew they fly like 9 hours, have 2 stops on the way home. But everybody showed up pretty much the next morning at the house, and I think we partied harder for that third place than we did for any win that year. We've had some rough days here. I don't think, the funny thing is there's not any bad memories that really stick out because we don't really come in here with high expectations. So,
drivers, start your engines!
The names of the men starting those engines is beginning to change. First, Jeff Gordon retired, then Tony Stewart, and now the biggest name in the sport. You raced against his dad, and such a legendary family. Tell me about Dale E. This is his final race at this course today, and I think fans are going to be very sentimental given the history of this family.
Yeah, the Earnhardts have meant so much to the sport. It was funny. I raced with Dale Sr. for all those years, and we had great rivalry together, he and I did. I drove for him in '98 for a little while, which was a lot of fun. We got to spend some time together, but I never knew how big Dale Earnhardt was until he got killed, until he lost his life at Daytona. And all of a sudden, not only was he famous in the NASCAR community, he was famous worldwide. And that's the way Junior is. I still call Dale Jr. Junebug, because that's what I called him when he was a kid. He was in the shop, and Dale and I both called him a little guy, run around worrying everybody to death, and he's like a little Junebug, floating all through the shop. So I still call him Junebug, even though he's 42 years old and married. But he's a great kid. He's got a great heart. What I love about Dale Jr., he's passionate, but he's also caring. He cares about what people think about him. He cares about what his competitors think about him. He worries about his image. He worries about not disappointing people. He's a unique driver. He's very unique. You got to realize something. This kid he's got 70% of the fans. And that's huge. That's a huge responsibility. So he's got all those fans that he doesn't want to let down. He's got big sponsors that he doesn't want to let down. But, I think more than anything, he doesn't want to let himself down. I think he really pushes himself to be the very best he can be. He's always compared to his dad, which is wrong. There's only one Dale Sr. There's only one Dale Earnhardt that won all those races in 7 championships. But I think Junior, since he married Amy, and he's become much more comfortable with who he is, and I see a different Dale Jr. now than I saw a few years ago.
I look at the last few years, Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, Carl Edwards also hasn't officially retired, but that's some big star power.
Yeah.
Is NASCAR in trouble in terms of that brand?
Yeah, I hear that a lot. I hear people ask that same question a lot. Here's the difference between now and maybe a few years ago. A few years ago, we'd have 1 or 2 rookies that were coming up, and they may not be in the best cars in the world, so we didn't talk about them very much. And so we just talked about the stars, the guys you mentioned. But today, we have 6 or 8 rookies that can win on any given Sunday, and they're in good cars. Ryan Blaney he just won Pocono, and the Stenhouse won Talladega, and Chase Elliott, and all these kids that are sitting there in good equipment that could win on any given Sunday. That's what fans want. That's what they pull for. They pull for winners. And in the past, we haven't had enough people to kind of make a change in the guard seem very effective. Right now, we have a whole field full of guys that could get it done, and they are doing it. And I think that's the difference between where we are today and where we were a few years ago. Look, some of these guys don't look old enough to drive a car, but when they get behind the wheel of that race car, they're very talented, and I think we got a great future ahead of us.
Dale Jr. once said they should blow up this place when asked about the Sonoma road course. And for the final time, Victory Lane eluded his grasp. But he leaves here with better feelings at the finish line than the beginning.
Hey, 3 top 10s in 4 years. You really want to stop coming to this place?
Let's end on a good note, huh? I tell you, it's just like the wine out here. I think we just get better with age getting around this place.
Daily done in Sonoma. A personal thanks to Darrell Waltrip. I asked him for 2 minutes. He gave me 10, and they were 10 great minutes. Coming up, did Ottery Ward go below the belt for his latest win? The reaction straight from the boxer. And if you have never seen Jordan Spieth this fired up, you got to see his amazing shot next.